You can be hurting your partner even if you feel like the victim, and they can be hurting you even though they love you. Truth is, codependency turns everybody into the bad guy. If you're stuck in arguing whether you're the problem or they are, you're already in a dysfunctional pattern. The real issue is not who's to blame, it's how fast the relationship is losing altitude. Do you ever find yourself thinking, I'm not the one with the problem, he is, or I'll change when she changes, or why are your needs more important than mine? Aren't we both supposed to be meeting each other's needs? Or you're feeling like you're walking on eggshells and you're fearful of upsetting your partner. This is codependency. Codependency is a relational control system in which one person's emotional stability and self-worth and behavior becomes dependent on managing another person's needs, feelings, and reactions. Over time, both partners begin to abandon their core parts of themselves, their autonomy, their boundaries, their accountability in order to keep the relationship from falling apart. Today, we're going to explore this dynamic that tanks relationships and slowly poisons love and leads you to loneliness and heartbreak. If you're new to my channel, my name is Dr. Scott Symes, clinical psychologist. I run the program Breaking Reactive Patterns, the blueprint for building a safe and healthy relationship. If anything that I'm saying in this video sounds like you or maybe your partner, make sure that you're scheduling a discovery call. The links are right below this video. It doesn't have to be this way. I can help you maneuver these patterns, break these dysfunctional cycles, and get you moving in the right direction towards love, safety, and security. Codependency is a tug-of-war mindset in which the dynamics of the relationship get set up for ultimate failure. Both partners end up other-focused. That means that they're focused on the other partner's behavior instead of being self-reflective and accountable to themselves, their partner, and the relationship. The entire dynamic of a codependent relationship is based on managing anxieties and fear, trying to control the behavior and feelings of your partner through dysfunctional means that ultimately lead you to a pattern of emotional abuse. Both partners typically are projecting onto one another their own fears and insecurities, and all of this becomes very self-destructive. Because when you're terrified of losing your relationship, you start to overfunction, and the whole thing starts to nosedive because you're wearing down each other's nervous system. So let's get into the codependent dynamic and understand exactly what goes wrong here. One of the main reasons why this happens is because of reciprocity confusion. Again, it's not because the couple doesn't love one another. They break down because the rules of reciprocity get distorted. At its surface, reciprocity is a really simple concept. What I do affects you and what you do affects me. However, it's a lot more than that. It's also the mutual exchange of support, care, and energy between partners that creates a sense of equality, invested love, and safety and security. The breakdown happens when we start to confuse reciprocity with conditions. You scratch my back and I scratch yours. This replaces the concept of reciprocity with the idea that if I'm doing something for you, then you have to do something for me, that we kind of expect something in return. This makes the relationship conditional. It also induces guilt. It also introduces the concept of scorekeeping, which is one of Gottman's 4 horsemen for how a relationship will end. All in all, this is a very immature way of thinking about healthy relationships. Alternatively, distorting reciprocity with the idea that you are responsible for the feelings and needs and wants of your partner, and if you're not making me feel how I want or give me what I need, then it's your fault and you're failing me. Healthy love is having a proper understanding of reciprocity as a means to protect the foundation of healthy love, safety, and security. Healthy couples have a very solid understanding that reciprocity is not based in conditions. It's based in two people choosing one another and giving into the system for mutual benefit. Healthy couples also understand that this system needs guardrails or boundaries, and these depend on personal responsibility and a desire to keep the relationship safe. So a healthy person thinks like this: I know that what I do affects my partner, so I must be careful with what I do so I don't break down the safety and security that she feels for me and the love and connection that I need from her. In our relationship, I want to be connected and I want to feel close. So I have to be aware that in order for me to feel close and connected, then my behavior has to be healthy and safe. So my partner will choose me and want to connect with me because I have an understanding that what I do has a direct influence on that. If I demand connection, if I guilt her into intimacy, if I complain and coerce, then I am making my partner feel bad, and that feeling will be associated with me, which makes her want to pull away from me, not connect. If I keep doing this over time, she's going to shut down. And if I take that shutdown personally and I don't see my own individual responsibility in it, I'm going to blame her, that there's something wrong with her, that she's pulling away from me. So staying out of codependency requires that I see my own responsibility in how I'm pushing her away and sabotaging the closeness and the connection that I desperately want. Now, this is a good time to go through a myth that has somehow got rooted in relationship therapy or pop psychology. I don't really know where it comes from, but it's bullshit. And that myth is, I don't make you feel anything and you are responsible for your feelings. Yes, our feelings are our responsibility, and we have to be careful with how we turn our feelings into behavior. Just because I feel a certain way does not mean I can act however I want. I mean, this is the stuff you teach to your kids. But the idea that we don't influence each other emotionally is ridiculous. Of course we affect each other emotionally. We are tied together and dependent on one another. This flies in the face of simple logic, reality, and what it means to love somebody. I have seen this most commonly used with men and women who try to deny and deflect their own responsibility for their actions because they don't want to feel the negative impact that their actions are having on their partner. So if I do something that is harmful to you, it will absolutely have a negative effect on you. Just as alternatively, if I do something very loving for you, it's going to have a positive effect on you. We absolutely affect each other emotionally. If you're using this dysfunctional logic, it's time to get it out. Now let's talk about mutual negative influence. In reactive relationships, the messaging that you give to one another is that if I'm feeling a certain way, it's your fault that I'm feeling this way. We use this logic as a way to leverage one another or control one another. You're responsible for making me feel okay. You're responsible for regulating me and my emotional needs, which again distorts and twists reciprocity with the message that you owe me, and if you're disrupting me or not satisfying my needs, it's your fault. Too much of this is going to cause us to feel responsible for regulating each other's nervous system, and this creates a dysfunctional spiral of whose fault is whose, or who triggered who. You raise your voice, they shut down. They raise their voice, you shut down or blow up, and then we sit and argue about who said what and in what tone you're talking to each other. We chase reassurance and connection, and then they avoid and pull away. So it turns into this cat and mouse game. Neither partner intends to cause the harm to one another, but the pattern between the two people in the reciprocity is what causes the harm. So to keep the relationship intact, we fall into several dysfunctional patterns. We over-apologize to end conflict. We shut down or negate our own feelings to get back on their good side. We get very hyper-vigilant to their moods. We're fearful of disappointing them or feeling like we're in trouble. Or we avoid them. We stay distracted in our phone, or we stay distracted inside of our hobbies or staying away from the house. These destroy attraction, trust, and autonomy. If this keeps going on, this eventually causes a partner to start seeking connection elsewhere, and it may open the door to emotional affairs, betrayal, and cheating. So we always have to remember that codependency is a two-person system. There is usually a dominant person who breaks connection that they have with their partner, breaks that connection, goes dominant using anger, intimidation, demands, pressure, control. And then there's a fawning pattern, appeasing, people-pleasing, and self-abandoning. These roles aren't chosen. They're formed by fear, and many times when we look really closely, especially in my program, we can see that these patterns were taught to us from our family of origin. The more one partner dominates, the more the other one fawns. And the more the fawner disappears, the more the dominant person panics and tries to control even more. This is really where the relationship takes a nosedive. So how do we get out of this? The accountability pivot. This is where instead of asking the questions, whose fault is it, we ask a better question. What am I doing during conflict or when I get reactive that is making my partner feel less safe with me? And let me remind you, your intentions do not determine impact. You may not intend to cause your partner harm, but if you do cause your partner harm, you have to take responsibility. You cannot chalk this up to, well, I didn't mean to, therefore I'm forgiven, or therefore you're blowing it out of proportion. It only makes everything worse. Accountability means that you're owning your own behavior and the effects that it's having on the people that you love, especially your partner, and the relationship. It means you understand how to hold yourself accountable to what's best for you, your partner, and your relationship. Every single one of us has dysfunctional patterns. All of us have insecurities. All of us have feelings of low self-worth, or we struggle in some way or another. Boundaries are two-sided. It's what I do to protect me from unsafe people, but it's also what I do to protect the people I love from my unsafe patterns. And if you don't know your unsafe patterns, then they are going to rear their ugly head inside of your relationship. You're going to create the very thing that you don't want. So remember, codependent relationships are, the foundation of them is fear and pain, managing each other's anxieties. The pivot to accountability is turning your relationship safe and secure. It means you're building a solid foundation of safety and security so love has something to sit on. We cannot feel loving feelings and be very much in love when we don't feel safe, when we feel like our partner is going to turn on us at any point or feel like they are going to harm us in some way. So let's look at what safety and security actually means. Safety means predictable behavior. I can depend on your reactions. I know how you're going to react to these things. Codependency is a lot of uncertainty. I don't know what he's going to do, how she's going to take this. I don't know what she's going to say if I tell her how I feel. Safety also means that when harm happens, when we have a little bit of a rupture, repair happens very quickly. Both partners spend time reflecting on what did I do to contribute to the problem? How did I negatively affect my partner? And we take responsibility for that because that repair is crucial. Empathy is also a massive factor in this. The ability for you to see the perspective of your partner and to relate to, if I were being talked to this way, how would it affect me? Truly, how would it affect me? If I were being treated poorly, how would I feel? What would I interpret? How is that going to change me and how I feel about my partner? Safety and security means respect during conflict, that we don't escalate so far that we are becoming abusive, that we're putting each other down, calling each other names, assassinating the character of your partner with shame and ridicule. Healthy couples work it out like two mature adults. We don't need to resort to childish behaviors of like name calling and put downs and blaming the other person for starting it or running away in kind of a huff. Safety also means that there is zero fear that vulnerability will be punished. Vulnerability is welcome. Being open and honest allows for trust and feeling safe. Lying, deflecting, and denying breaks down trust. Remember that a healthy relationship is one that is free from fear and pain. Not to say that you're not going to create that every once in a while, but it's free from it, not that it runs it. So fear and pain should be the exception, not the norm. So how can you break this pattern together? Number one, you want to regulate your nervous system. You want to learn emotional regulation. I cannot reiterate how important it is to learn how to sense the feelings, the danger signals inside of your body. So when Scott feels like I'm the danger, it's hot and I feel tense in my shoulders and my hands and my jaw and I feel angry, right? That signal in my body is like all of the flashing lights that are going off in my car that my engine is about to explode. And I better pull over and stop, not push the pedal to the metal. So take notice of the danger signals in your body and take some counteractive measures. Walk away for a period of time, sit and reflect, take a walk, breathe, slow everything down, and just make sure that you are telling your partner, I need to go step out for 15 minutes, but I'm coming back and we can talk about this. I just need to make sure I'm coming back to this conversation in a calm state of mind. Another huge one, number two, is replacing judgment with curiosity. The opposite of defensiveness is curiosity. This is something I teach in my program. We are asking questions to understand, not argue. We're not asking questions as a way to prove a point. We're asking to truly try to understand empathetically. This is a way for you to get to know your partner and how he ticks. You're two different people. You're coming from two different places in your history. You're not the same person. So just because you feel a certain way about something doesn't mean that your partner should feel that way. Just because you see something the way that you see it doesn't mean your partner should see it your way. So learning curiosity and learning how to connect through curiosity allows you to mutually share your perspectives, your emotions, and it helps you guys understand each other in a completely new way. Learning to speak from fear, not anger. This is vulnerable communication, and it sounds like you seem distant lately. I feel like you're pulling away from me or losing interest, and that's making me feel a little insecure. Can we talk about what's going on? As opposed to, what's your problem? You're just spending all your time with your friends. You're not even including me. Why are you avoiding me? Why are you shutting down for me? Are you cheating on me? Is there somebody else? Sounds accusatory, sounds blaming, sounds like it's going to immediately escalate into defensiveness, and you're not going to get anywhere. And finally, number 4, committing to shared rules of reciprocity. We choose each other. We create an environment in our relationship where makes us want to choose each other. We don't leverage or keep score. We commit to an understanding of how we affect each other in a good and a bad way, and we're careful with our own behavior so that we protect each other and ourselves and the relationship from fear and pain. Remember, when one person shifts and they change in how they show up, it automatically starts to change the entire pattern. So again, if you hear yourself in this video or you think, this is my partner, share this video with your partner, sit down and have a conversation with them. Try to have a better understanding of one another, and what your intention is in sharing it is that I want to be more connected to you. I want to feel safer with you. I want to feel like we are healthier with each other. It's really hard for any person to want to argue with that. They are not likely to say, I don't want to be healthier with you. I don't want to be closer to you. I don't want to be more connected to you, if they're really in love with you. And a lot of you are going to need help trying to break these patterns. And that's where my program comes in. If you need that extra help, right below this video is a link to a discovery call. My program, Breaking Reactive Patterns, helps you rebuild trust and emotional safety step by step. We get to the root of why you have these reactive patterns. It'll help you understand yourself in a completely new way. Links are below. And as always, thank you so much for watching.